goal of the project, Gyan Shakti as we call it, and this is really a research project that we are doing, is to create a sustainable model which can also be scaled in a way that we look at how affordable private schools can be transformed and the learning quality in these schools can be improved drastically. We've set ourselves extremely tough targets of 15 to 20% of improvement in the student learning outcome. The important thing that we're doing over here is that any project, to understand whether it's going well, has to be supported by external parties' assessment of whether the project is on track, it's doing well, what are the pluses and minuses, areas of improvement. And we're lucky to have a partner with us, Education Quality Foundation of India, that is helping us to actually assess our intervention, tell us, and give us our report cards. So they do grade-based competency tests that they're specifically developed for this curriculum. And they're extremely rigorous and extremely, sort of go into depth of every little thing that is happening in the classroom. We started a project with a whole school audit, and these were the areas that we were looking at. What is happening with the kids, what is happening with the teachers, the curriculum, the instruction, assessment, the class environment, the leadership, infrastructure, and parents. The key components of what we thought need to be looked into before we actually understand how we can go out and help improve the learning outcomes of the children. Having done that, this is what was the situation before. Bland, dull, extremely boring classroom. The first step that we decided was that one of the intervention aspects that we would take on, besides the others, was the introduction of technology. And I remember Naveen mentioning a little while ago over here in the group that technology has the ability to scale, and perhaps we should look at investigating, does technology truly add value to the learning of the children? The model that Educomp adopts is the model of smart class. And let me just take a minute and explain this to you. Every school has a knowledge center in which the entire repository of more than 16,000 modules has been uploaded. These go across all classes, all sections, right from grade nursery, right up to class 12. Of course, these schools are to class 10. While our intervention is aimed primarily at the primary school, school is relevant to use the technology content even for residential. Teachers are trained. Each classroom has beautiful plasma TVs where the content is shown by the teachers. What is very interesting is that when we introduce this component in the schools, to our horror we realized, and this is something that we hadn't realized when we actually set up thinking about how we're going to go about doing this project, is many of the schools didn't even have three-phase electricity. So our first step was to get electricity into the schools. The second step was the walls in which the plasma TV was supposed to be installed wasn't strong enough. So walls had to be reinforced. I mean, we were worried that the plasma would just fall off and all of that. Then, of course, came to the aspect of teacher training and how they would, how that would be adopted. And that's where we got a big surprise. The adoption of technology in the schools has been so phenomenal that it's taken us by surprise, because teachers have sort of just lapped it up, and at least about 92% of teachers are happy using technology in the classroom. The model is fairly simple, and I actually invite you to come and see the Gyan Shakti schools at any time. It's a pity actually that I didn't offer for your visit this morning. Just didn't strike me, I'm sorry. But if you were to come in the schools, you'd actually see the ease of the model by which teachers actually get to use this technology in the classroom. I'd like to mention over here that since this is a research project, we have technology being deployed in 4 of the schools. And really 2 schools have no technology, 2 schools have what we call as 50% technology, and 2 schools have 100% technology. 100% technology would mean that should teachers use multimedia content as a part of the teaching learning process. Along with it, they also have what is known as a smart assessment system. The smart assessment system works this way. The teachers pose multiple choice questions which they pre-prepare, and then each child has a remote like this, and once the teacher poses the question, each child actually goes and sort of presses the answer. It's a very easy and a very quick tool to understand what is the learning level of the child. based on different kinds of questions. And that happens almost instantaneously as soon as the teachers finish the topic, along the topic. So what the CBSE is talking about, continuous comprehensive evaluation, we've seen it happening in the classrooms already. One of the things that we found, the dreary classrooms, was what we were extremely upset about. And we felt that children deserved classrooms that were inviting, classrooms that made them want to learn. And then the whole effort was to actually do up the classrooms. And if you take a look over here, much of it are sight words. We find that the language abilities of these students are extremely weak. So a lot of materials, work done by the students, and this changes every week. Initially, the resource people sort of did up these classrooms, but going forward, we found that teachers took on the responsibility of doing up the classrooms. We also did a lot of softboards in the corridors because we wanted to display student work. And we thought that that was a great motivational tool for children to find their work up there. And that we found is really working very well. Another important thing that we did was adapted the concept of BALA, B-A-L-A, I don't know how many of you have heard of it, which talks about building as a learning aid. And these are some of the things that we've done in the building. We built grids like these, where children learn patterning, they learn drawing diagrams, symmetry, etc., etc. So this is 10 by 10 grid. We generally use it for a Sudoku board. Every day a Sudoku puzzle is written, and we find by the third or fourth period, kids have come and actually solved it. And a little chalk box is kept next to it, and anybody can come and actually write on it. That's what we do. Children's height is being measured. Of course, this picture doesn't depict it, but there are charts put next to the height thing, where the children's names and their heights are written. And repeatedly over a few months, children have to come and record it themselves. We've written their names, children come, they measure it, and they have to write their own names. And then next month when they come and do it again, they will add on another one. So these are sheets that have been put up for all the classrooms. And writing, variety of teacher programs, because we find that the intervention is not enough if you don't work with the teachers. So a whole lot of areas in which the work will be happening with the teachers in different areas. Teacher support programs, so besides training, there is support being given to the teachers. One of our things that we put in this particular program, differently from what we've done in other programs, is working directly with the children. And these are the areas that we're working with the children. The media program and the subject enrichment program, and find the two key pillars because of which we're seeing a lot of change coming about in the children. Some other initiatives, we're working with the leadership, the medical camps, and Manjula tells me that there has been an improvement in the health of the students in terms of their reduction in absenteeism. We're also finding that because of our work with the parents, the attrition to other schools and the migration to other schools has been stemmed, and the amount of admissions that the school is getting has increased. Of course, there are other programs that we will be looking at doing. Yoga and physical fitness are two other key areas that we're looking at, because unless we look at focusing on the children's health, we will not be able to really take the children forward. I think it's important that I think any change is difficult, and to sustain that change is even more difficult. Getting people to commit to change is probably a tough thing. I think that's what we're trying to do. Teacher attrition is a major challenge. Whoever we train leaves, gets a better job, goes away. We start from scratch again. The skills of the teachers, the involvement of the teachers, and their acceptance of somebody from outside is taking time. I think we'll get there probably, but it's still something. Class sizes are very small, 45, 50, 55 kids. And I think one of the areas that we're going to work on with the principals now is actually limiting the number of students that you're taking. Shortage of teachers, and of course, established and deep-rooted love for rote learning. That seems to be the system that they want to follow, and they're very scared of moving on to another system. I think early signs are there, and we're pretty happy with what we see in children, because I think they are our best litmus test indicators, so to speak.